We are live here on Friday, episode 77 on the Real Kyper at Noon show. And yeah, I know. It's called the Real Kyper at Noon show, not the Real Kyper at 12:30 Eastern show. But much like Edmonton and Montreal last night, they delayed their start for an hour, precautionary reasons. Let's just say we delayed this show half an hour for precautionary reasons. That probably just means that Doug Maclean's fault that we're 30 minutes later today. So hope everybody's had a good week so far. Enjoyed the games last night. Should have been 14 games last night. We ended up with just 10. 4 of those games, of course, postponed for those precautionary reasons that we talk about. Hopefully everybody gets their games in when it's all said and done. We are half an hour late because we sat on Doug Maclean. Doug Maclean, of course, has been battling the injury bug. I refuse to put him on the IR list. But today we pushed it back a little bit to make sure that you got your fill of Doug. Doug Maclean, let's go down to Florida right now. Are you okay? Was it COVID related? Was it your second shot? What's the deal?
It was a little elbow, an old hockey injury.
Oh, the bursitis.
Bursitis. So I got it drained today, and it was great. So I'm sitting in the waiting room, and the nurse assistant or physiotherapist, I guess she is. She said, "Did you used to be in Ohio?" And I thought, "Oh, she recognized me, former coach of the general manager of the Columbus Blue Jackets." And I said, "Yeah, as a matter of fact." And she said, "Oh, I'm a friend of Clark's, your son." So anyway, we had a nice chat.
So it had nothing to do with you being famous then?
Nothing to do with me whatsoever.
Nothing at all.
Anyway.
Well, we're glad you're here. I'm glad.
Fine. I raced. I said, the doctor said, "Do we have time to do this?" I said, "I've got to do the Real Kyper at Noon show."
All right.
And I got to hustle. And the doctor said, "You're on that show?"
Yes. Tell him it's Friday. We're going to pack in a lot here, getting ready for the weekend.
He said, "Is there any way you can talk about Fleury for me?" He's a big Fleury fan. So I said, "Well, I'll see what I can do."
Theo or Marc-Andre?
Theo. He wanted Theo. We got Marc-Andre.
Well, we got a little bit of everything here. We also got Joe and Jordan on the wings. Jordan, you're excited because we hit 100 likes. And now I'm like, "Hey, can we do it again? Can we hit 100 likes?"
Hell yeah,
and you're
brother.
like, no. We got to bump it up. I'm like, bump it up? Like, how high do we need to go here? We don't want to put too much pressure on everybody watching.
As they say, the ceiling is the roof, right? We can't stay complacent here. You know, what we're going to do is every time that we hit this bump up, we'll do something nice. We'll do a little Q&A. We'll talk about Doug's injuries. We'll shout out Clark, all those good stuff.
So where do we need to get to? What did we get to? Did we hit 130 last show?
Live, I think we were 122, and then afterwards, I think we're in the 200s for sure. But today, if we want the Q&A or a special send-off Friday edition, 150 is the mark that I'm setting.
150.
Hit him early, too, because I'd like to get out of here early today.
We're going to keep you here the extra half an hour you made us late.
I already hit mine, by the way. My like button has been pounded.
Well, we'll see where we can get to. But thanks for joining us, and thanks for considering hitting the like button.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
We won't put too much pressure on you there, but
no, get your ass in gear and hit the damn button.
There you go. Okay, let's get our asses in gear here. The thumbnail, Mac, we decided to go around Marc-Andre Fluery. Of course, we've been watching this right from the get-go, from the moment they traded for Robin Lehner, and the extended contract that we knew that was waiting for Lehner, what that would have done to the scenario. They were primed. They made it a top priority to trade him. They made that public. And then a complete 180 where they said they're going to go with 2 goaltenders here. So not a huge controversy coming out of the gate when you're 8-2-1, and Vegas has done everything that they're supposed to do, and that's show everybody that they're a top team in the West and a top contender for a Stanley Cup final again. if not win the thing this time. But there's still something strange, I think, in my eyes a little bit when I hear that Robin Lehner last night, and of course we're talking about a 1-0 loss to Anaheim, which happened to end up being Marc-Andre Fleury's first loss of the season. But he comes to the rink and says, I'm not playing. And, we've been around the game a long time. It ended up being released as an upper body injury that maybe had been suffered, I guess, in the morning skate. But between me and you, being around the game as long as we have, that's not how it generally plays out when a guy maybe has suffered something the day before or the morning of.
Especially a goaltender.
Especially a goaltender.
And,
where
where would they be without Fleury right now?
Yeah, I know.
Is the big question.
Yeah. But the sense was that nobody knew that he couldn't play. And it didn't appear like even the management or the coaching staff knew, because usually at the most, the level of information that comes down is he'll be a game time decision. And there was no sense of that at all.
But that comes from the morning skate or the day before, or that doesn't happen at 6 o'clock at night, typically.
Yeah. So whatever the case is, Marc-Andre Fluery has been the better goaltender this season, flat out, for whatever reason. If he's battling injuries, if he's battling anything else, personal or physical, Marc-Andre Fluery has been the better goaltender. Save percentage, goals against average, it's not even close right now.
So the owner was right. We're not trading Marc-Andre Fluery. We're going to keep Marc-Andre Fluery because we want to sell jerseys, and we want, he's the face of the franchise. And he's one of our most popular players, and we're not moving him. And then some deals fell through. Obviously, there was a couple of deals in place that probably fell through, and Marc-Andre Fluery is there to save their asses.
Well, the whole idea, I do believe, was not to sign Robin Lehner to $5 million so he could be a really good, safe 1-2 punch. Didn't kind of feel that way right from the get-go. This was all towards Lehner and moving Fleury out. But
this has been a little awry since day one of training camp, when there was rumblings about him showing up, Lehner, out of shape or close to 300 pounds or in that range. So this has been a bit of an ongoing issue, I suspect, in-house in Las Vegas.
Our thumbnail today, Mac, revolves around Pittsburgh, and we know that the Penguins, from talking to various people, have not been happy with their goaltending situation. Casey DeSmith gets the win against the Islanders in a shootout last night. But now that there's a new look with Brian Burke and Ron Hextall, do they revisit finding Sid and Malkin and Letang a bona fide number one goaltender here? And if they do, how quickly do they have to move on it? And would Marc-Andre Fluery be the logical choice to go and get?
Well, to me, he's one of the few choices, if he's still available. I mean, Nick, there was some rumblings in the summer that Pittsburgh wanted a first-round pick to take on the $14 million. And out there a little bit this summer. What is the situation now with Burke and Hextall coming in? And there's no doubt, in my opinion, they need another defense. I don't mind their forward group. I said that the other day, but Dumoulin's got to get back, and they need another defenseman, in my opinion, if they're going to challenge. And they've got to find a number one goalie. They're not going to make the playoffs with their goaltending right now. The Islanders, luckily, that was a big win. last night. Malkin makes the big play. But Fleury, to me, is the obvious guy. Number one, how many places would Fleury go? How many would he agree to go to? I would say he would agree to go back to Pittsburgh. Would you agree with me on that?
100%. 100%. And he was prepared to go back to Pittsburgh in the off season.
Right.
If in fact they could have figured out
so the question
the draft
is
pick.
Right. The question is the ask still a number one pick from Vegas to make this happen? Or will Burke and Hextall drop the demands a little bit to make this work? They are taking on, well, now it's a year and a half, not a year and a half salary, a little more than a year and a half salary. It's $7 million prorated. But what's it mean for the Pittsburgh Penguins to have a chance to make the playoffs?
Well, you assume that you got to, besides the compensation of the draft pick, and this is another reason why many of us believe that Brian Burke and Ron Hextall are a little over their heads, even with all their experience. And I don't say that based on their abilities, but just the situation in Pittsburgh being so dire with the lack of prospects, blue chip prospects, and picks, Mac. They gave up a first rounder for Kapanen last season. I think the Zucker first rounder is gone now, right? That they gave up for Zucker in Minnesota. So they have no first, they have no third, they have no fourth, and I think they have no sixth coming up in this draft.
And no, they don't need any scouts then. They can lay their scouts off, put it into Fleury.
So
I mean, it's not pretty right now.
It's not pretty. And then on the other hand, you look at Vegas right now, and Fleury's been their best player.
Exactly.
So how do you now even consider moving Fleury to Pittsburgh?
Well,
can you still do it? Because that was the original thought, though, when you signed Lehner. Do you stick with that?
It was the original thought. The problem is now this is a team that is under the gun. McPhee and McCrimmon are under the gun, and DeBoer to do some major damage at playoff time. I mean, their owner, he thinks they're a Stanley Cup contender. With the way they've played this year so far, you would have to say they're a Stanley Cup contender. Nick, I looked last night at their top 10 forward group. Yeah. This is a dynamic top 10 forward group. As good as any in the league when you look at that top 10 forward group. So they are a contender, and their defense with the way Theodore's come, Pietrangelo.
Yeah.
They are right there.
Yeah,
Can they take a chance for Lehner to be the guy? He played well last year for them. He was terrific when he came there. This is a big gamble. If you don't have amazing goaltending, they're not winning.
Now, what are you hearing out of Pittsburgh if in fact that they don't really try to come in and clean this thing up real quick here? You're not moving Crosby. You're not moving Malkin. There's still some reports out there that Jimmy Rutherford had some sort of arrangement, or he was close on Letang. And then the theory goes that no, Letang, Crosby, and Malkin aren't going anywhere. What's left now for Brian Burke and Ron Hextall here that has great value? Is it Rust? Gensel's not going anywhere. Well, so what's left on that roster?
Rust is playing right now with Sid and Gensel. You're gonna go in and say, okay, we're gonna take your winger. Look, they can do whatever they want, but is there anybody in the back end they can move? Marino looked a little better last night. He's coming on a little bit from the way he started the season. Matheson played last night. Letang was okay last night. I don't think there's a lot of assets there to move. You're right now hurting asset wise.
Yeah.
So, I don't think there's a lot they can muster up to do. That's going to be the challenge.
That's
I mean, Cody Ceci played 14 minutes last night, and Letang played almost 27 minutes last night. Now, I know it was an overtime game. Matheson played almost 24 minutes for them last night. So, you know what? I don't know what there is to move to make deals happen here.
Well, we got a trade deadline in April. We know,
but just let's go back. If you're the Vegas Golden Knights, there's no way you're giving up a first round pick, or you're giving your first round pick to Pittsburgh to take Fleury. That ship has sailed.
Yeah,
that ship, in my opinion, that ship sailed. You can't.
They're going to have to.
That's a deal when you're desperately trying to move $14 million that you do.
Yeah.
That's not a deal you do now when he's been your best goaltender.
Well, they're on the clock. Malkin's contract's up at the end of next year, Mac. I think he'll be 36 years old. And already talking about an extension for him would be in the ballpark of probably $9 million over 3 years. I think that would make him happy.
Yeah.
That's staring really Brian Burke and Ron Hextall right in the face today.
And what's Sid? How many years has Sid got?
Sid's got 4.
Yeah, so they're safe there.
Yeah. It's just a matter of what Sid wants. And as Brian Burke had said, by the way, Brian Burke has done more TV and radio as the president of Hockey Ops than he did with Sportsnet.
He's done more TV interviews than he did on any show I ever saw him. Last Saturday night, he only got David Amber introduced him. It took a minute to introduce him, and then he gave him 15 seconds to talk.
That's why he left. He wasn't getting enough airtime. That's why you left.
He's, you know what? There's no way he's been able to talk to any teams about a goaltender yet because he's been too busy doing interviews.
Oh, he's loving every second of it too.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Just wait. He hasn't even warmed up, Pittsburgh Penguin fans. He has not even warmed up.
I hope that he buys a new suit with this new paycheck he's got coming in. It would be more than he was making at Sportsnet, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. He's Brian Burke. I think he'll be just fine.
Still wears bad suits.
I think he'll be just fine. All right, one more note on Vegas, Mac. The golden helmets. I'm watching it, and I'm like everybody else. Okay, how do I feel about this? And then it dawned on me that
you thought you were watching the East Coast League?
No, I thought I was watching like Bugs Bunny with Marvin the Martian. Remember him? That's where it's heading, I think. Remember the helmet that guy wore?
Why do they have to go there with that? Why?
Because it's Vegas, baby. It's Vegas.
Do they really have to do that? Seriously?
Yes.
What's the negative aspect of this, Doug?
There's only... Go ahead.
What's the negative aspect of it?
Yeah. You turn off 65-year-old men.
Well, there's a lot of 65-year-old men in Vegas that are spending a lot of money.
True.
I thought it was rinky-dink. I thought it was a little rinky-dink.
No. Okay. Less rinky-dink and just cheesy. All right? It's cheesy, but it's Vegas.
Isn't that what rinky-dink is? Isn't rinky-dink and cheesy the same thing?
Yes, but it's Vegas. Okay? They get away with it. There's only one team in the league that can get away with that crap.
Vegas loves it. I don't have a problem with that.
All right.
But I didn't like the look that much, but that's just my own opinion. That's fine.
All right. Maybe our watchers today will chime in on that. Maybe get a gauge. Jordan of
it's pretty mixed, you know.
because
I think,
they're younger and hipper. Our watchers are younger and
you
hipper.
guys are pretty cool dudes. I don't know what you're saying over there.
I know George McPhee is a very cool dresser. He always has the scarves around his neck, and he's very cool. Kelly McCrimmon, not so cool looking as with his dress. So George, it must have been George that came with this cool look, because George was one of the cooler look guys in the GM meetings that I knew. You know, he had the skinny pants on before skinny pants were in. You know, he had the scarf tied a certain way before the scarf was in. You know, so this is he's GQ. I like it.
Well, we'll get a feel from the younger hipper watchers than Mac, and we'll see if they like the gold helmets. I probably guess that the sponsor on the sticker isn't too happy. Capital One, I think that is their major sponsor.
I'm now wearing Lululemon pants.
You're not.
Oh yeah, I wear Lululemon pants.
They're the best.
Yeah, they're comfortable and they're skinny. Then I have dinner with a buddy last week, and he's got really, really skinny new ones. And he sort of thought my Lululemons were baggy. So where the hell is this going, this skinny stuff and these helmets?
I don't know, but you're in good shape now. You walk every day.
I walk at the beach. I walk jog.
There you go. Okay, where do you want to go now? I had some fun watching Chicago and Columbus. It was just it was like watching a car crash, right? No. It was like watching like bad goaltending. Okay.
One thing it was like,
we'll get into
that. I heard about
but
this kid in Chicago, how great he's been. He never made a save last night. I mean, he never made a save.
That's Lackinen, who gave up the 2 late goals. And really, they had the win. Chicago had the win. They've been on a good
game.
Unbeaten in 4 games, Mac. They seem to be having something going. Pat Kane has looked every bit of the Pat Kane that we've seen throughout his career.
Did he look good?
They seem to be fine. But
Did you see the winning goal?
Horrible.
Yeah,
horrible.
And you know what else? In Laine, to me, was Jack Roslovic the key part of this trade, or was it Laine?
It was Roslovic for Pierre-Luc Dubois with Laine thrown in the deal. Yeah.
They just gave Laine to them so he'd have something for Tortorella to bark at, to bark at.
Yeah.
I didn't
local
like
kid, Mac. It's a good story.
All right, Columbus kid, come up through the Columbus AAA Blue Jackets program. Great story.
Is that the program you started? Did you start that program?
Yes, I did start that. Well, we started that program.
Has Jack thanked you?
Who?
Has Jack thanked you for that program?
No, but
did anybody say, "Hey, listen, thanks for helping produce Jack"?
I've had lots of a lot of people in Columbus that I thought I started because Clark was playing AAA.
Well,
but Clark had
thankful
left.
Because
Clark had left when we started the program. So those idiots that said that were wrong. Anyway, it's
9
a great
points.
program. They've done a hell of a job. Ed Ginger's running the program. He's run it since day one. He's done an amazing job. They're developing all kinds of young talent, college prospects, pros. It's Connor Murphy and Roslovic, 2 guys that come up through the program, played last night. Or no, Connor was out. Anyway, it's Laine.
Anyways,
Laine had the most minutes of any forward last night, but I didn't like his game. But maybe he's rocked a little bit from what's gone on the last few days. But Laine, he'll get it going. Columbus, look, who is going to make the playoffs in that division? Well, we know that Dallas are going to probably make it. And we know that Tampa are going to make it.
I'm not sure.
I think Carolina's going to make it.
Dallas may be in a dogfight, Mac.
Well, Florida has come out of nowhere and have played so well. So who's going to miss? Nashville? I mean, they got Ekholm and Johansson out for an extended period of time. I mean, who's going to miss in that division? That was a big game last night.
So
big game.
The biggest issue, and what you've said, how you described Patrik Laine is something that I think is going to follow him off and on for a little while longer. And I call it that kind of big man syndrome. And Patrik Laine is, if he's not 6'5", Mac, he's very close. Okay, he's a big man.
He's a big man.
Okay, Patrik Laine is a big man. But guess what? So were Mario Lemieux, Matt Sundin. I had played with Matt's briefly in Toronto, and when you get these guys at 6'4", 6'5", Mario Lemieux early in his career, when you have these big guys like this, they stand out a lot more as when it's not going well for them, as they're not moving their feet, or they look lethargic, or they look slow, or they're not getting anything done. And it's just a crock, but it does follow guys, Mac, when you're that big, to feel like you're not standing out, you're not moving. At times you can look lazy.
Yeah.
Did you find that throughout your hockey tenure? Adam Creighton, remember Adam Creighton?
Yeah, look, it was a label guys would get, and unfairly in a lot of cases. Obviously, a lot of cases it was unfair, but Laine, I mean, he started to be criticized a couple of years ago. He wouldn't play a 200-foot game, and he was stick checking and all this. And then last year seemed to come around and that. I mean, look, these guys are all the same. These big scorers, these pure talent guys. I don't have a problem with it as long as they score goals.
Roslovic scored a great goal,
great
power
shot.
play goal. Max Domi with a nice feed on a one-timer. That was more Patrik Laine scoring out from the top of the circle.
And Patrick was waiting on the other side for the puck to come through to him. He thought that Max was going to saucer it over to him, but it went to Roslovic first.
Okay, you mentioned...
A bumper guy decided to shoot the puck on the power play.
Yeah, you mentioned the Florida Panthers, Mac, and don't look now, but it's one of their best starts ever. And a big win against Tampa Bay, albeit no Stamkos, and Anthony Cirelli left the game. So are you surprised?
Let's be a little careful on saying it's the best Panther start ever.
One of them.
That's fine.
Are you okay? Did you have a better start with them?
Our first game I lost. We lost the first game in 95-96 season. We lost the first game. And we won the next, I think, 5 in a row. And all I know is at Christmas we're in first place in the East.
Right.
So let's just see if they're in first place in the East.
Let's just
then we'll
wait
talk
it out.
about starts, okay?
11 games, just one regulation loss, Mac.
Look, it's been a hell. You know what? It may be their best start ever. It may very well be. All I know is if Bobrovsky gets his game to where it should be.
There's still some goals I don't like though.
Yeah, and Barkov has gone to another level. I mean, they got the kid they picked up.
Verhaeghe
they picked up from Tampa Bay has been a great story. Look, it's a good story. And as somebody said to me the other day, they're now allowing 20% of the fans in are allowed, which would equal their biggest
100% of their fans
last year. So that's good. There's a lot of positives going on there.
So while everybody gets only 20%, Florida really gets 100% of their fans.
Full house.
The joke never
You're
gets
so
old.
mean.
It never gets old.
You're so mean, man.
I'm kidding. Don't what's his name? Vinny Viola. Don't snap. And what's that other guy that used to be the part-time owner?
I'm not. Don't bring up.
He's disappeared off the face. I think he's back on Wall Street. I haven't heard from him in ages.
You'll be in a Twitter fight the moment you mention his name, and I don't want to be responsible for that. Okay. Montreal, Mac. What happened to Montreal? Because prior to Ottawa going in last week, we were everybody was talking them up big time here, and Edmonton, give them full credit. Give Mike Smith full credit, Mac. He stops Nick Suzuki on a breakaway early in the game and never really looked back.
Look, they're still getting chances. It's going to happen during seasons where goaltenders are going to beat them. I had a chuckle this morning. The analytics crowd has broken it down that they're funneling everything from the points to the front of the net. And, it's not quite working. Teams are catching on to the strategy. And I like Julian's answer. He said, I don't think there's anything wrong with the strategy. Maybe we're just not getting any bounces. But according to the analytics group, it's a funneling thing. Eric Engels, Eric Engels? He wrote it up today, and I was so goddamn exhausted from reading this article that I couldn't figure out what the hell they were talking about. I mean, I understand cycling and getting funneling it from the point. I understand that, but it was so goddamn confusing that I had to take a break and go to the hospital and get my arm operated on.
Oh gosh, listen, everybody's got an opinion. It's like the old assholes. Everybody's got one, Mac. Come on. Let everybody think that they've got the answer.
No, okay? I know. Look, I happen to really enjoy reading the analytics analysis. I really do enjoy it.
I do too. But there's parts of it where you just know someone's just desperately trying to show you how smart they think they are.
As a coach said to me last week.
And that's where it gets crazy.
As a coach said to me last week, of the 25 pages they give me, I might look at 2 pages of it and find it quite interesting. So it's good. If the 2 pages help, it's really worthwhile stuff.
I do think that there's quality in it. You just gotta you just gotta figure it out. But there is. It's just the searching part that suggests that the answer is just in an equation or a percentage, and we know that's not the way the game's won and lost, and especially championships. But anyways, Montreal, they come off a tough loss against Toronto, and then they follow it up. Mac, I don't care what Mike Smith does, and McDavid and Draisaitl didn't even play a huge part in this. They got scoring out of their fourth line. They got scoring out of their defense, and that's what it takes now to win. Obviously, your stars have to be your stars, but you got some supporting around them, and now Edmonton seems to have a bit of a rally going on.
Well, first of all, with Montreal, they don't have the pure scores of Toronto. And we said that from day one. Toronto is going to score because those guys are pure scorers. Montreal don't have the pure scores for me. Yeah. They score on hard work, on rebounds, deflections, battles in front of the net. It's tougher to score goals on a consistent basis that way.
Yeah, the game breakers, they
don't have. And that's going to be the issue. But I still love the way they play. Going to Edmonton, they needed a break from their goaltending. They needed to get somebody to win them a game and to help them win a game. Smith has come in and given them a breath of fresh air. Like, Smith is a guy, people say, well, he's not a number one. He's not this, he's not that. You know what Smith is. He's got the heart the size of a lion, and this guy will not lay down. He's 39 years of age. And you know what? Good on him. He's come in and given them, a breath of fresh air from seeing garbage goals go in. And you know yourself, when you played, Nick, goaltending can turn your team around from a confidence point of view. And, Ottawa dominated that game, but they didn't win it. And then Montreal, the team was better because they'd got some confidence from a couple of wins. Good on them.
So
Nurse has been a good story.
You don't.
Barry's getting better,
Just to kind of get ahead of ourselves on the weekend here, Toronto and Montreal on a back-to-back. Toronto winning the first one, Mac. And now I'm not a must-win type of guy, but if you want to stay close, Montreal has to win Saturday night, and this is truly the 4-point game where Montreal can distance themselves from Toronto with a gap of 7 points, or they can bring it down to 3 points.
Yeah.
So for the mind psyche, this is a game that Montreal has to win Saturday night.
Yeah, it is. There's no denying that. It is a game that they've got to win. And you know what? It's a game Price has to win. It's a game that Price has to win.
Well,
I mean,
they've got off to this great start, Mac, and to me it doesn't look like Carey Price is out of second gear yet.
No, and look, Allen goes in and doesn't get the win. Price, to me, I mean, Freddie Anderson, we said it before the last game. Freddie Anderson has, whether you like him or hate him or whatever his playoff is, I don't care. He's been as good as Price has been to this point in the season. And in that particular game that Toronto won, Freddie may have been better than him. I want to see Price take. They're paying him $10 million. They give a backup $3.5 million to rest him. Now it's time for Price to get it going here big time. Would you agree with me?
Oh no, 100%. 100%. And I would have told you that if Montreal got off to the start that they have, it would have been on the back of Carey Price.
100%.
And that has not been the case.
That has not been the case. That has not been the case. So, you know what? This is going to be a very interesting thing. This was a lot of this was done for protection of Carey Price, who we all know is a great goaltender. Allen has come in and for the most part has done his job very well. And seems to be great chemistry between the two. I want to see Carey Price take his game to the level that we all think he's capable.
I will say this, Mac, about the Toronto Maple Leafs, that I don't think it's in their best interest to run away with this division and win it by 12 points. I'm not sure. I think if that happens, and they may think otherwise, that they could now be in a position to get guys in, get guys out, maneuver the salary cap, make everybody happy. But it sets themselves up for everything to lose and nothing to gain in those first 2 rounds of the playoffs.
And look, they're going to be different. The first 2 rounds of the playoffs are going to be different. So, but what do you say?
I don't know.
You don't say anything. You just keep playing as
you have to.
You keep trying to improve, certain aspects of your game. And we've already talked about how their game has come around. Do they add a blue liner? Can they add one more defenseman? Which I think I still don't see that as a Stanley Cup.
No, Mac, you know what they'd love? They'd love Sam Bennett. Toronto would love Sam Bennett. They want a guy that can come in and influence like Tampa Bay did, with their bottom 6 players.
I agree 100%. I agree 100% with that. That Sam Bennett is he not on the first line now? How the hell do you go from the third and fourth line to scratch to now on the first line? Well, I guess that was the plan all along.
No, I don't think it was the plan all along, but I think
I guess not.
I think it's maybe Brad Treliving reminding everybody that I don't really want to get rid of this guy. So you can knock on my door all you want, but this is the type of guy you want in the playoffs, who can score a big goal, who can play top 6 and pound the opposition. So, does Toronto want to take a run at getting Sam Bennett? I'll tell you right now, it'll take a lot more than giving them Travis Dermott.
Yeah, I would say so.
Right?
He's one of those guys that is so below average in the regular season and is always very good at playoff time. I would like to see him be better in the regular season and really good in the playoffs. He's capable of it. I'll tell you who's played well is Lucic. All of a sudden has played pretty damn well. But anyway, they're not going to be anxious to move him as far as I'm concerned, because look back to what happened to them in the playoffs last year.
So
they weren't tough enough in a lot of areas.
If Toronto starts running away with this in the North, Mac, and we look at it from 2, 3, and 4 here,
then they've got to do the same thing as you told Pierre Maguire on the bench in Hartford. Remember that? Do you want me to reg the puck for a little while, Pierre, because we're ahead of schedule?
Yes, we're ahead of schedule.
So maybe the Leafs can reg the puck like you did.
If our listeners don't know what the hell Doug's talking about, it's in my book. It's the story's in the book.
Where's that available for purchase? Let the listeners know.
Amazon. If you go to Amazon.com, you'll be able to order it. Simon & Schuster is the publisher. You can go to their website and find it. Please do. That story plus many more, including many with Doug Maclean in the book.
You know what?
Including a few of our dust ups on on Hockey Central at noon. This
book has caused great concern at Amazon because of the demand for the book. It became so big that Jeff Bezos stepped down as the CEO because they couldn't keep up with the printing of this book at Amazon.
God, I hope you're right.
The links in all of our episode descriptions as well for anyone curious.
That's right. You can go back and we've done a couple of shows on it as well. So a lot of fun. The book's still out there, still selling. Please buy a copy.
Hey, Kyper, before we move
on, by Doug Maclean.
I need to let you flex your muscles a little bit. I'm surprised you didn't brag a little bit about it. Do you remember that you perfectly called the last game between the Leafs and the Canadiens 4-2 empty net? Twitter was going crazy. They were commenting like crazy.
Jordan, I'm not Doug Maclean. I don't need to pat myself on the back. Okay.
And I was 4-3, right?
Mac doesn't know this, but the reason why he ended up with a bursa sack is because of the times that he reached back to pat himself. Okay. That's why he hurt his elbow. It wasn't pickleball.
I was doing by the way, I was doing a show last night, a podcast for some guys. I give them a plug, but I forget the name of the podcast all of a sudden.
You've done so many. Mac, if I'm not mistaken, Mac went 3-2 Montreal, and I told him no.
4-3. 4-3.
You went 4-3 Montreal.
Yeah.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah, 4-3 Montreal.
Okay,
we can confirm that. That was the coup de grace.
I said 4-2 Toronto with an empty net goal.
Yeah,
and I threw the cherry on top.
What was the name of this damn thing I did last night?
Doug, I got it for you.
Center Bench podcast. But anyway, guess what they said to me last night on this podcast?
What did they say?
Speaking of patting yourself on the back, they said, Doug, do you remember on Hockey Central at noon when you said that you thought it was going to be a real challenge to make hockey work in Las Vegas? Of course, I said I think it was Nick Kypreos that said that. I don't think it was me.
Oh, God. They were out of business before they even started with your prediction of Vegas falling flat on their face.
Yeah, exactly.
You weren't even close.
I wasn't close.
So listen, I got a call from Ron Francis. He said, can you get Doug on your show to say that we are just it'll never work in Seattle?
It won't work in Seattle.
All right, where else do you want to go? Because if we stay in the North Division,
I want to go to where I really want to go?
Yes, to the beach.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're starting to steal your punchlines, eh, Jordan?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I saw it coming, man.
If Toronto starts running away with this North, Mac, then we've got Montreal, Winnipeg, Calgary, and Edmonton battling it out.
Yeah, that's what we have.
So
Not
Winnipeg.
Vancouver. You don't think Vancouver can get this turned around a bit to battle it at the end?
I look at Vancouver right now, and they're trying to salvage good efforts.
But you know what?
With losses.
I know
that works in other leagues. It doesn't work in the NHL.
They're playing better, but they're not winning. It
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Fans don't care if you're playing better and losing. Right?
I know.
Result industry.
I know. Markstrom has beaten them. It's hard to believe that Markstrom has actually beaten them 3 or 4 times.
3 times, Mac, giving up big, averaging a goal a game.
Oh no, he's been unbelievable. I mean, he made some saves last night that were spectacular. So I still have a funny feeling that Vancouver's going to crawl back into this and make it a better race for the playoffs. Edmonton, I don't see that happening, but with McDavid and Draisaitl, you can't count them out either. You just can't.
You know what would go a long way in Vancouver is announcing that Travis Green signed an extension.
Yeah, they're saying that that's not the issue out there. They don't really believe that that's an issue. Well,
we've talked about it since the start. Before the season started, we talked about having a coach without a contract, Mac, going in.
I think I looked at their team last night, and I'm watching that power play, and it's Besser to Hughes to Pettersson and a one-timer from Pettersson and Horvat banging at the front. They need some bounces. They need that power play to come alive. Yeah. They need the kids to be better.
Well, they need their goalies to steal a win because that's what they were used to the last few years.
No. He covered up lots of issues. Markstrom did last year. They need better goaltending. But like mental mistakes, like Schmidt gets caught on a bad change last night, was a big goal. I thought Demko played well last night. But anyhow, I'd like to see them crawl back into it.
I would think that, it's a tough scenario, again, for everybody in any capacity, Mac. And I'm sure even Ron Hextall and Brian Burke trying to negotiate contracts in this environment is so hard. Travis Green, I'm sure, would want an average paycheck now for coaching his caliber, but he may have to take less.
Yeah,
if he wants to kind of stay or it's a hard situation for Travis. You assume that he's a damn good coach and he wouldn't have trouble finding a job, but in this environment, how could you be so sure?
You know what? You've got to be realistic and say, okay, yeah, I know the league average is 2.9885 million. So you want to be within the league average, but there's some coaches at the top that are so grossly overpaid, in my opinion, grossly overpaid, starting with Babcock when he was a coach and down from there, whether it's McClellan, whether it's Tippett, whoever. I mean, so it's a skewed thing. I mean, John Cooper makes $3 million a year in coaching Tampa Bay. Last time he won the Stanley Cup.
Okay, all right. Listen,
I
hold on for a second.
Guys make a lot of money, but let's be honest. It's a tough time right now in the economy.
You're an ex-coach. Why are you throwing your union under the bus here?
No, I'm not throwing them under the bus. What I'm saying is maybe take a step back and understand the environment.
Okay.
And maybe if you're so confident that you're such a great coach, say, hey, I'll take a 1-year deal at X amount.
All right. I'm a big believer of you're worth whatever the market bears.
Yeah, I know. But the market isn't determined by 3 guys at the top.
Well, as much as you can argue,
what's the coach and median salary?
As many warts as Babcock has or had in the past, he did a great service for all of them.
No, he did. Oh, you want to believe it? He did.
Yeah,
he should be, and Quenneville the same way.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is, it's easy to say you want the league average, but if you Babcock and McClellan and a couple of guys out of the mix, the average might drop to 2 pretty quick.
I would think the ownership group in Vancouver is thinking in your terms right now.
Yeah.
So if he can get Travis Green on a $2 million contract instead of a $3 million, then maybe he lets Travis sweat it out a little longer. Or Travis turns around and says, "Hey, thanks, but no thanks. I'll take my chances somewhere else."
When's the last coach did that?
We would have thought Tortorella in his last year, and watching him make the decisions he's made in the last little while might be a guy that's willing to go somewhere else.
Not many guys are, though. So
Tortorella get a job tomorrow, though. That guy, if Brian Burke can get a job after the stint in Calgary, there's hope for everybody.
That's a shot at our friend Berkey. That's brutal.
Mac, we all love Berkey. He's a friend of ours. We wish him the best of luck, but it did not fare well. There's nothing coming out of Calgary that would make you think that he's going to go into Pittsburgh and clean it up just like that.
We'll see. I mean, Hex, he's not the general manager. He's the president of hockey ops. So,
But they are in charge, Mac. They're the ones that set the tone, and they're the ones that sign off on anything that the general manager does. And I'm not suggesting that, Ron Hextall, is, what do you call those? Fake GMs?
Yeah.
Or no, Berkey's the fake GM.
Berkey's the fake GM. Yeah.
Yes. I probably think that Berkey's doesn't really want to work like a guy that's running the day-to-day operations of a hockey club like a general manager. He can't
work. He's too busy doing interviews.
It'll be a tough challenge. Let's just put it that way. But we wish him the best of luck because that's what we do.
And we wish everybody the best of luck. We just want to be nice guys on this show.
Well, it's a little late for you. All right, how many likes have we got, Jordan? Did we get close?
113. So they're stepping
113.
Up.
We said 150. We wanted to hit 150 on the likes. So all you guys, everybody watching, please hit it one more time so we can hit 150, and we'll welcome some of your questions.
They can only hit it once, so
we got Mac. We're keeping Mac extra here.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, a wise person once said, if at first you don't succeed, you'll try again, right? And so we'll go for 150 on Monday if you guys let us down today. But we'll work on it.
We will.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mac, anything out of Ottawa and Winnipeg? I watched Matt Murray, and hey, it really is coming down to if you got a goaltender that can keep you in the game, it's all the difference in the world. The first 2 goals, he mishandled the puck. I don't want to beat him up again, but until this guy finds some of that Stanley Cup magic in Pitt, it's still going to be a long year for the Ottawa Senators.
He's going to have a hard time finding that Stanley Cup magic without Sid and Malkin probably, and Letang and company. But
yeah,
I didn't really like his game last night. He was real good the couple previous games. The problem is the guy that goes in to replace him doesn't know where the net is. So it's really hard to, when the puck goes in your net and you're 2 feet outside it on the opposite side to where the puck went, you got some problems.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel for them in Ottawa. They're playing hard. They're actually playing hard, the team. And Paul Maurice said it last night. I mean, this team plays hard. The players said it. Ottawa plays hard, but I mean, I just saw DJ Smith after the first couple of goals, just shaking his head last night. It's really, what do they got? 1 win in 15 games or something, or 2 wins in 15.
It's ugly. It's ugly. Tough. Well, we just hope that we can get through the weekend here as best we can. The numbers are actually going down, right, Mac? In Florida, one of the states in the U.S. that has been notoriously high.
Well, I looked this morning on the news. I think new cases, hospitalizations dropping by 40 and 50% in the last month. So there's some hope, as the people are being vaccinated. Down here in South Florida, it's, the drugstores are starting vaccinations, Walgreens and CVS and Publix, the grocery store. So, it looks like it's moving quickly.
It's
let's
strange
hope.
though, because if those type of numbers are coming down, the NHLs are actually going up. It's kind of strange, and I think we got our outdoor game, Lake Tahoe, I think next weekend, and fingers crossed that the teams like Colorado and Vegas, don't get hit anymore.
Somebody told me Brady's going to be out at Lake Tahoe with his partiers to spice things up a little out there.
I hope not. You know what is I find kind of strange is that this term taxi squad was supposed to be for all these extra guys who could fill in for other guys.
No, it's a salary cap manipulation.
All it's done is help circumvent a salary cap.
That's all it is.
It's ridiculous.
I know.
It is so bad.
Oh.
And all you've done now is whoever your cap guy is, can you imagine having that job every day, Mac, and juggling it?
Yeah, it's amazing. It has become the biggest. They used to worry about people sending private jets to pick up people. Now they got to worry about the damn taxis.
It's not one guy, is it? There's got to be a team of these people managing all of these spreadsheets, right?
And they're wearing they're all wearing lab coats.
One guy with a set of suspenders on.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. But it's kind of brutal, to be honest with you, that watching guys go up and down and get.
When I was there was one cap guy. Now they have a cap department. There's a lot of departments now that have been, video department, the cap department.
Now some American Hockey League is getting going, and junior. But the problem is, Mac, is much like the women's league in Lake Placid, is that you can talk all you want about the American Hockey League and junior, but like, how are you going to test these kids? How are you going to stay on top of it? The big issue for the NHL in the last little while is their testing wasn't good enough, Mac. And we talked about this.
Newman has to go. Newman has to
Look
go
at
out.
this guy.
Newman has to go out.
Oh my gosh! Is that?
He just jumped up in my chair. He needs to go out.
Where's Jill?
Jill's in Cincinnati.
Oh, he's gonna take a big shit right on your carpet right now. Can we just all stick around? Anyways, we'll get into that on another show.
Okay, say goodbye.
Right, listen. All right, go take him out. Jordan, did we hit 150?
We did. We just right on the dot. We just hit it about 2 seconds ago. So,
really?
Awesome. We hit 150.
Is Newman actually going to have an accident?
You suckers!
Does anybody out there
not taking any questions?
Does anybody have a question for Newman?
I think my golden doodle Carl will be very interested in hanging out with Newman. We'll see what's going on.
You suckers hit the like button, and we're not answering any questions.
So
that's awesome.
Because of Newman's guest appearance, we'll push the Q&A.
Because Newman has to take a big steamer. Everybody is out on
I'm gonna take
asking questions.
So here's the deal. Hit us on Twitter at line_movement. Hit Kyper up at Real Kyper. Doug, with your questions. We'll do it on YouTube. We'll do all the questions. We'll put them into one place. On Monday, we'll answer some as we end the show.
Awesome. Okay, Mac.
Thanks, guys.
Hello, Newman. Goodbye, Newman. All right, Doug Maclean in Florida. Jordan, thanks, pal. It was a fun show today.
Oh, real fun time, man. Have a great
weekend.
Good.
I hope everybody had a great week. Hope we were able to put the cherry on top of it here on the Real Kyper at Noon show. If you're a first-time watcher, subscribe, hit some comments, let us know how you feel about the show. And we'll do it all again on Monday. So enjoy the weekend. Stay safe, everybody. Okay, we're getting to a point where maybe, just maybe, there's some light at the end of the tunnel. We'll find it. Take care, everybody.